conceptual things are physical in the brain and nothing more. So that is the consensus of experts in all related fields.
Do you think the law of identity exists?
The law of identity is a sentence that describes reality. The law of identity doesn't itself exist, no.
Does the physical reality exist?
Physical reality exists.
Is that a concept in the brain or a concrete object?
The concept is the sentence, physical reality exists. That sentence doesn't exist independent of our imagination.
If you say something like truth exists and you say it's a concept, then you'd have to say that truth exists as a particular item of matter in one particular brain. And how could it be universal if it's different in all brains?
This is very, very basic philosophy. Truth is whether a sentence describes reality or not. The truth doesn't exist. Truth
doesn't exist? That's the end of the debate.
Is a property of sentences. This is very, very basic philosophy. If you don't understand
that the truth doesn't exist, that's basic philosophy.
Jimbob. Truth does not exist. There is no truth in the table. The table exists. There's no truth found anywhere in the table. Truth is a property of sentences. Does the sentence describe reality? Yes or no? Does that exist anywhere in the sentence? No, it doesn't. It's a conceptual object. Truth in and of itself doesn't exist. There's no truth. You can't discover
there's no truth. Is that true?
Truth is, stop interrupting, Jimbob. Truth is a property of sentences. This is very basic. You probably should research where space and time are literally physical things, Jimbob.
That's
How
amazing.
did you not know this?
That's amazing.
Did you not graduate high school, Jimbob?
Amazing.
This was covered.
Wow.
This was covered in high school,
Top tier
Jimbob.
stuff, Tom.
Have you heard that space and time bend physically?
Oh, time is a physical thing?
Yeah, yes.
What's it made out of?
Have you heard of this?
Yeah, no. What's it made of? I've never heard of it.
It's a manifold.
No, that doesn't tell me what it's made of. What's a manifold made of?
A manifold is a quadrant space with certain kinds of dimensions.
What's it made of, I said? Teach us.
Manifold is the answer. Oh my God. If you Google
it, guys. Google it.
Yep. Jimbob is just angry that I know more than him about pretty much everything.
That's a good argument.
So your first attempt was logic. I showed that doesn't work. Your second attempt was time. We all know that's physical from space-time. Do you have anything else? Do you have any other way to try to show that there's non-physical stuff out there?
Yeah, knowledge. Does knowledge exist?
Knowledge is the same thing as truth. It is a concept in the mind.
So it doesn't exist?
It is a justified true belief. It exists in the mind.
So it doesn't exist. There's only one truth. So it's a particular.
No, knowledge is a physical thing in the brain.
So it's a particular.
Yes.
So truth isn't universal then. Great work. You're done debating, dude. Dude, you turned both knowledge and truth into particulars in the brain.
Knowledge can be a particular just fine, right?
What?
Go to the knowledge claim. So you
knowledge. Knowledge, is it physical?
Yes. Knowledge.
Okay, what's it made of?
Thing in the brain.
What is it made of?
Neurons.
Which neurons make up knowledge and which don't?
So knowledge is a justified true belief. So it's a belief, whichever neurons cause the belief, are the neurons that composite knowledge.
Wow. You've said nothing. You've said literally nothing.
What?
Tom, do you think that the imposition of will is immoral?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think the laws of nature are an imposition of will?
Some of them, yes.
Do you think the moral field is a law of nature?
Yes.
Is the moral field an imposition of will?
No.
How is the moral field not an imposition of will if it's a law of nature? The moral field is a law of nature. I'm asking you, how does the moral field specifically not impose on our will, please?
What? So to impose on someone's will, you need to have a will that goes against something.
Is gravity a pseudo-force?
I don't, sure.
If I have the will to jump to the moon, is gravity imposing on my will?
Yes.
Is gravity evil under your theory?
Yes.
Okay, gravity's evil. The moral field is similar in its ontology from your view as gravity, right? It's some type of field that impacts objects in space, right?
Sure.
So I'm asking you, if the moral field akin to gravity impacts objects in space, aka human beings or other, how is it not an imposition of will?
Gravity stops you from doing something, namely jumping. The moral field does not stop you from doing something.
And how did you determine the moral field doesn't stop you from doing something, but it maintains its ontology as a law of nature?
Because you can do lots of immoral things.
I'm asking you a fundamental question here. If you hold morality as a field, that it exists as physical in nature, does this physical field affect objects? Is the answer yes?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Does it affect all objects?
No.
How do you know which objects it affects and which it doesn't?
I already answered this again.
No, you didn't.
We look at the evidence of the phenomenon of morality and the things to which that applies. We assume it affects and the things it doesn't apply
You
to.
literally didn't tell me which. You didn't tell me how you determine that. You just asserted that that's the case.
So there are things that are not related to morality, like eating potatoes. It's just not related to morality. War is not related to morality. Nobody's saying winning wars is moral. That is not a thing.
Except for
so
pagans.
If we're looking at the moral data, and we're trying to understand, does this moral system agree with the moral data? Listing things that are
the moral data
unrelated to
moral
morality.
Data.
Like,
so you just said something.
All right, you're unmuted.
You just said moral data. Can you tell me which data is moral and which data is not moral?
Moral intuitions and moral progress.
I asked you the data.
Moral...
LGBT.
Women's rights.
What? Okay, rights. Hold. This is great.
Indian slavery.
Are rights? Oh, wait. Are rights moral?
Yes.
Okay. Do rights require the imposition of will?
No.
Yes, they do. If my will is to violate someone's rights, isn't it the fact that there is brute force waiting when I do that and it imposes my will? If I want to violate rights, isn't that an imposition of will? No, it's a game over, bro.
You can have a right.
It's over.
No,
if that's not an imposition of will, I'm not sure he knows what an imposition of will is. If I'm not allowed to impose my will on someone else, right, and you call that rights, the protection of rights, there's a man with a gun that doesn't allow me to impose my will on other people. I asked T-Dump here, is that an imposition of will? He says no.